I've been filming for 29 minutes. Hello everyone, what is up? What are you reading? I am Rhiannon and today I am coming at you with my favourite and most disappointing reads of 2018. So this book is probably a little bit late and I apologise, and I have a few things to discuss. Now, I had planned on uploading a video 1 to 2 times a week every week in December. I was going to have all these videos planned out, but I was very busy in December with work because Christmas and I work in retail, it's a thing. And so I was super busy, and then I had a video filmed and I believe I uploaded it. Yes, I did. I uploaded it really late, but I had it filmed ready to go on the weekend, and then I ended up uploading it a couple of days late because I got some pretty shite news. So a few things happened. Me personally, my mental health's not been great. I've been very depressed lately, very anxious about a lot of things. And then I got some news end of November, beginning of December, and it wasn't great news, but I was reassured that everything was gonna be fine. And then I got some even worse news about 2 weeks after that, which I didn't deal with very well, and I'm still not dealing with that well. And that's about 2 weeks ago now that I found this out. 3 maybe. I thought I'd dealt with it and I was fine, and then it kind of just reared its little head yesterday and I was not fine. So that was fun. That was enjoyable. Again, I'm sorry that I haven't been here a lot at all, really. Christmas did not go as planned. My Instagram did not go as planned during Christmas. I had all this worked out. I was going to read so many books over Christmas because I just had so much free time, and then I didn't. I didn't finish a single book. Oh, I did, but I also kind of didn't, I guess. December was a hard month. But Happy New Year! It is 2019 and hopefully this year is going to be a little bit better. So today's video, the first one that I'm filming today, is my favourite books that I read last year and my most disappointing reads from last year. And going back through my Goodreads, I only have 1 disappointing book that I read last year. So that's pretty good. So I will start with the most disappointing book that I read in 2018 because there's only one, and get the negativity out of the way and go in with the positives. So the book I want to talk about is All That She Can See by Carrie Hope Fletcher. Now, I love Carrie Hope Fletcher very much, and I've read her other books. I've read All I Know Now and On the Other Side. I haven't read When the Curtain Falls, but I'm dying to because I think it's right up my alley. And I also read last year Winter's Snow, which is the novella to On the Other Side, and I really enjoyed it and I cried because of course I did. And I started this book. It was the first book I read last year actually, so great way to start off the year. But I was reading it and I was like, wow, this is so Carrie. This is like, it's so good. I cried a little at the beginning. It was really touching, really sweet. And I got halfway through the book and I was like, wow, you know, how's there still half a book left? I don't remember what I gave this book. Hold on, I'm gonna look on Goodreads. I gave it 3 stars, which I think was a little generous. I gave it, in the review I said 3.5 to 4 stars. I was very kind about it in the comments. I was very nice. But in all honesty, the last half of this book was absolutely awful. I hate it. I'm sorry. I love Carrie so much and I love her other books so much, but I hated the end of this book. What happened? This book follows Cherry. She can see, I believe they're called medlums, and she can see people's negative medlums, and she can see if they're like depressed or anxious or whatever. And so she can bake food that helps to kind of relieve those feelings. Not get rid of them, but kind of relieve them, because the whole moral of the book is that you need a bit of good and bad in your life. So I'm gonna put the book down for a sec. So Cherry goes to different towns and she bakes to help people with their medlums. And then she meets a guy called Chase, and he can see the opposite side. He can see everyone who's really happy, and it makes him really sad because, you know, he doesn't, whatever. And essentially they kind of start a rivalry, and then it's all like cute and fun, and they mess up and they put too much of everything in and everyone's too happy and giggly and whatever, and it's like the entire town is like drunk for a week. And then these people come in and they're like, Cherry and Chase, you need to fix this. You can either come and learn some stuff with us, how to like do this properly, or she can never bake again. And she was like, I don't want to do that. So she tries to fix everything, but in the end she just mucks it up even more. And that's where like you think that like, okay, this is weird, but it still makes sense. It's kind of like urban fantasy, like cool, they'll fix it, it'll be fine. No, that is not what happened. Instead, they try to fix it, but they make it worse. And then these people come in and they take Cherry off to this secret plantation where they try and, it's like the Golden Compass, how they try to separate the demons from the humans. They try to do that with the medlums and the people, and they try to separate them from each other. And it felt like I was reading a second book. Like, it felt like I finished one book, it just didn't have a satisfying ending, and then I started another book with the same characters but in a different world, and it didn't make sense. And I've been ranting about this for like 6 minutes, and I liked the beginning. I hated the end. Still love Carrie, still watch like all of her videos and stuff. I don't like this book. I honestly think I probably should have given it 2 stars. Now I'm going to go on to my favorite reads of the year, and I pretty much loved every single book that I read. So I've kind of narrowed it down. I have 7. And I read 20 books, so that's 8 of my 20 books already. I really loved every other book that I read this year, but I only picked a few. I'm just going to go in the order that they're sitting in front of me. This is no particular order. But the first book that I really loved this year was Legendary by Stephanie Garbo, which is the second book in the Carole trilogy. This one follows Donatella, and they've gone into another game, and if you've read this book, it's not him. You know what I'm talking about if you've read the book. The first book, Carole, follows Scarlett Dragana. Can't do names. And her sister have always wanted to go to Carole, which is run by this magical man called Legend, and they get an invite this year. And they go, and she gets completely caught up in the game. And what I loved about the books is that you can't trust anybody, because the whole point of Carole is that it's just a game. You literally cannot trust a single soul. So something happens and you go, oh my gosh, and then you go, wait, but did it really happen, or was it just part of the game? So it's actually really cool. I really enjoyed both books. Legendary was actually really good. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, it was probably more of a 5.5 star read. I was very generous with 5-star books last year. I'm not going to be this year. I'm going to be more picky and only give books that really, really like enthralled me 5 stars. The next book I have on my list of favorite books from last year is, of course, Hero at the Fall by Alan Hamilton. I finished this book last year. What a beautiful conclusion. Oh my goodness. I reread Rebel of the Sands again last year, and it's almost kind of inspired me to reread the whole series again. I loved this book so much. The ending was absolutely stunning. The last chapter is one of the most beautiful things I have ever read. There was a adult-natured scene, and it was kind of a fade to black, like most young adults normally are, but it was written so beautifully, which I know sounds weird, maybe a little creepy, but it was the most beautifully written sex scene in a book I have ever read. Like, it was just incredible. Like, I don't know how Alan Hamilton made that sound so nice, but she did, and 10 out of 10 to her. So if you don't know, the Rebel of the Sand series follows Amani Alhizar as she discovers her true nature, and her, along with the rebels, start a rebellion against the prince because he's a douchebag. I gave it 5 stars. This one actually really did deserve 5 stars. It was fantastic. I loved it so much. The next book I have on my favorite reads list is Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. This book follows Morrigan Crow, who is cursed. So she's about to turn 11, and she has lived every year of her life knowing that she is cursed, and the reason bad things happen in town is her fault. And one day a man called Jupiter North comes and tells her that he is going to take her with him to the Deculon. I can't say it. I think that's how you say it. The Deculon Hotel, which he owns, and he is going to help her enter the Wondrous Society, which is a school for people with knacks, essentially. They have extraordinary gifts or things that they can do, and she doesn't have a knack. She doesn't know what her knack is, and so she goes through the entire book trying to get into this school, otherwise she's going to be kicked back out. And the Hunt of Smoke and Shadow are after her, and so they do everything they can, and at the end we find out what exactly it is her knack is, and it is pretty cool. I gave this book 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a middle grade novel, but it was so much fun. I loved it so much. But yeah, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend it. I'm very excited to read Wonder Smith very soon. The next book I'm going to talk to you about is one that I had been putting off for a little while for no reason other than I just never picked it up, and we read it for book club, and I was pleasantly surprised. I'd heard a lot of good things about the book, so I was a bit worried I wasn't going to like it, but that is This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab. This story follows August and Kate. August is a monster, and Kate, her father, is a monster hunter, essentially. He owns a bunch of monsters, and they all do what he asks. They do his bidding, and so Kate has grown up her entire life believing that monsters are, like, essentially the scum of the earth and she should be scared of them. And then she meets August and he saves her life, and so together they end up forming this bond and they become friends, I guess, and they realize some stuff is going on that they had no idea about. And it was really, really, really good. Firstly, there was no romance in this book. I think there's some romance in book 2, but that's fine because I got to read a whole book without any romance. And you know how rare that is? I read young adult literature, guys. So I finished this book. I absolutely adored it. I gave it 5 stars again. I am a trash human being. But I loved this book so, so, so much. I highly recommend this Savage Song if you haven't read it. If you haven't read any of V.E. Schwab's writing before, she's very good. So 10 out of 10 recommend. The next book I have to show you. I was lucky enough to read as an advanced reader's copy from NetGalley. I still need to put up my review. I'm so sorry, NetGalley. The book I am talking about is Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I won an Arc of Strange the Dreamer when it came out and I got to read it. Technically I would have read it early had I actually applied myself and read it, but I was in a really big reading slump that year and I got through it and it was one of the most beautiful things I had ever read. And so when Muse of Nightmares was on NetGalley, I was like, I will never get it, but I'm gonna put my name down for it anyway. And then I got an email saying congratulations, and I was like, and I put off writing an essay, which I shouldn't have done, to finish it, and it was so good. It was very slow at the beginning, I'm not gonna lie. I still gave it 5 stars because, like I said, I was so generous with those 5-star reviews this year, but I really did love this book. Again, the writing was beautiful, the ending was really lovely. If you haven't read this book, then I would suggest skipping to the time stamp that's currently on the screen. Right, you're still with me? Cool. So I cried a lot when they kept killing Errol Fane and Azarin. Kept crying, like, over and over. As they did. And then I read the epilogue and I read But That's Another Story, the end. Or is it? And I am not kidding, I threw my iPad across my bed. I think there's more stories. I want more stories in this universe so bad. I want more stories with Laszlo and Sarai and Mina and everyone else. I love them all so much and I want all the stories. So if Laini could please let us know what's going on. Please! Anyway, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. It's amazing. The next book I'm going to talk to you about is a very loved book. And this I gave 5 stars as well, but this one deserved it. This one deserves everyone's love and attention. And that is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. I love this book so much. Seen my review, you know I love this book so much. It was so good. It was so fun and cute and heart-wrenching and just... ugh, I love it so much. I really need to read book 2. But if you don't know, this story follows Monty, and he is traveling Europe on his grand tour with his best friend Percy, and for some reason Felicity, his sister, is still there with them, and Monty is bisexual and Percy turns out to be gay, and it's beautiful. It was so much representation. It was fantastic. I believe if you buy the paperback now, it actually won a Stonewall Award, which is incredible, and I love it and you should read it. It's so good. And finally, the last book. The last book I want to talk to you about is Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco. I only gave this book 4 stars. I still loved it. I still thought it was amazing. I loved this book. Truly I did. But I also hated aspects of it. My biggest pet peeve in books are love triangles. I still really loved this book, although it has filled me with dread and doubt about a certain character. And now my sister's reading Stalking Jack for the first time. She sent me something and oh boy, I think I might be right. And I am terrified! This story follows Audrey Rose Wadsworth and Thomas Creswell. The first book, they are investigating the Jack the Ripper murders. In book 2, they go to Romania. They are living in Dracula's castle, which is so up my alley. And then in this book, they're on a ship and Houdini is there. That's all I'm telling you. The next book is called Capturing the Devil. I think I know who the devil is. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Purely because the love triangle ruined it for me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I loved the rest of it. I thought it was really good. 10 out of 10 recommend. Just gonna put it down now before I cry. Anyway, that is the end of this video. I've been filming for far too long and I will hopefully get it uploaded very, very soon. The problem is with my laptop, it overheats a lot, so when I try to upload anything, takes a while because I have to sit in front of the freezer. That's not a joke. But I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas and New Year. If you didn't celebrate Christmas, then I hope you had a wonderful holiday season with your family and friends. If you do celebrate Christmas, I hope Santa was good to you. And I hope you were all safe on New Year's Eve. I rang New Year's Eve in with some of my closest and most beautiful friends and we had sparklers and it was wonderful. And yeah, all of my social media will be linked in the description box down below. If you would like, please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel and I will see you guys all in the next video. Happy reading! It's not called The Smoke Hunt. Shadow? Oh. Oh my god.